right, here is the video review for Planet X Jupiter, the metallic version. Came out, picked it up. I've been putting off a lot of the Planet X stuff. I did have some of their earlier figures, the Big Omega Supreme they did and such, but I never picked up Jupiter. And then a couple weeks ago, the song came out that everybody was talking about. It's called WAP, which stands for a Wide Armored Prime. And with everybody talking about it, I said, all right, it's time. I got to get some of that WAP. And it showed up the other day, and I've been playing with it constantly pretty much ever since. And it was a very good purchase. He's very cool. He is, you can see, he's just a giant, just a big, beefy boy. Not quite Beef Tank beefy, because Beef Tank's a little bigger. I should have gotten him. But anyway, you can see him. He is, his robot mode's okay. And we'll get to that shortly. And the gun can come off. We'll take the gun off here in a minute. But just look at that. Very shiny. Very cool. The gun's up here. The gun's just tabbed in via a couple of tabs. Now, some of the pictures I saw showed this folded around and attached like this. And it doesn't clip on like that. I don't know if somebody just posed it like that for a picture. But I saw some pictures with a gun like this, and that's wrong. You got to flip this out. This is for something different, which I figured out on my own. And I'm super proud about that. But anyway, plug this in, and he's got a giant gun in his vehicle mode. But take that off for the base Prime, and just look at that. He's just angry. He's just look at that. He's just a chonk. He's just a big chonk and beefer, and he's got these big wheels, and he is been so much fun. No, snap back together. We're not at that point yet. To just grab him and just my throat is almost sore from all the days I've been going and just driving him all over the place. My dog hates it because he often drives over the dog. But anyway, here he is. Now, I like it. I do at some point. If anybody has one and is willing to sell or trade it, hit me up for the original version of this, because I like this. It's shiny, it's cool, and under the lights it looks a little better. And I love the base toy. I love his vehicle mode, and the Prime, and like I said, the robot mode is weaker than the vehicle mode here. I really like this vehicle mode. Even right now, I just want to stop shooting this video and just drive him all over everything, like a kid with a Tonka truck. But anyway, for the metallic version, you can see, I don't know how much it's showing up here on the feet, but the metallic is kind of applied unevenly. This is kind of a nice blue. This is actually probably perfect if we're all consistent like this, but it's inconsistent in how it's layered. This is an almost, you can kind of see it here. This is not just a trick of the light. This is a nice even blue. And over here on this part of the foot, on this foot, it's even, there's a smudge here, and it's more of a darker violet blue. And same with here. This is a different hue of blue than these two. All four chunks of this are four different shades of blue because of the metallic application process. And you'll see it some here. And in some cases, it works as a neat effect. But in some cases under here, it's really blotchy. And I just feel like it could have been done a little bit more evenly. It also causes some issues in that all these little pegs, when you're pegging here, you can kind of see some of that chrome rubbing off. And on these tabs that hold this in, it's just kind of scraping that shiny metallic material off. So it's nice, but it's definitely given just a little bit more thickness to all the things that need to peg together and causing some issues there. But regardless of that, I do still like the figure. I just wish it was just a little more evenly done. And I would like to pick up the original version, one, to have his black gun versus the shiny metallic gun, and also just to have one that probably transforms a little easier and it has a more uniform color scheme. So like I said, if you got one, hit me up. But yeah, there he is, big and chunky. He does, like I said, when you have this attached, and also I had to file down these tabs. It made these tabs just a little bit too thick to tab in here. I took a file and it's kind of on the inside of these, rubbed them down just a smidge so I could get this to tab in. He does come with a sword, and again, it looks like, you can see it's kind of scraped up, because I'm pretty sure this sword, and I can't get it up to the light to really tell, I'm pretty sure this is just the same transparent plastic they used for the original with some paint on it, which again, causes scrapes and rubs where the transparent plastic didn't. And same with the axe. And these are separate pieces you can pop off You can see there where it's rubbing off some of the paint just because it's making it a little thicker going into these peg holes. But you can make an axe. You can, if you want, in vehicle mode here, store these little pegs on them. If you take off one side of this, you can store weapons on that. If you want, I think it looks a little silly, but it's doable. But we're just going to go ahead and take it off to the side. And of course, you can take both of these off. You could just, if you wanted, attach this to the gun. Make it a double gun. That doesn't look quite as ridiculous. Anyway, just set all this stuff off to the side for the time being, and we'll start transforming him to a robot. Now, he does come in robot mode. This one does. I think the original one actually came in vehicle mode. But it doesn't matter because the instructions here are just almost useless. I mean, like, they're so tiny and hard to see exactly what you're supposed to be doing that, and then the whole back is just white. So, one, they go from robot to vehicle, and it can be very hard sometimes to tell. I keep trying to, while I'm staring at the paper, I keep trying to pinch to zoom in because they're just not great. But we figured it out eventually. So there's Prime in his vehicle mode, going around. To turn him into a robot mode, first thing we'll do, we'll go ahead and untab these pieces right off of here. And also you can see here where some of the sprue marks are in the middle, and just pushing everything through. You'll see all the issues we have as we get to it. I'm going ahead and just untab this from here, and that's going to loosen all of this up. And then at this point, you can pretty much do either the top or the bottom separately, depending on which way you want to go. You come up here, lift these, untab these panels right here, and then kind of pop the arms off of these pegs here on the silver bit. They're pegged in right here into the arms. You can bring the arms out to the side, bring this down, unpeg, and this can be a little difficult. Unpeg the bumper from the front here, but also there's a tab here that needs to come loose. And that's a little easier this time. The first couple of times it was really tight. Then you fold these little bits in to the bumper. Bring the arms up. You can see this is kind of an L-shaped piece here. Bring it so that the hinge is at the top part of that, and that'll give you just enough clearance to fold these pieces around back here. Past that, and these pieces are going to rotate, should rotate up and around to the inside. And then these pegs right here, we'll peg into this in just a minute. But first, before we do that, we want to open this up, bring this whole panel down, and flip his head up. Now the head is also metallic, and when you get to about right here, I've already got some paint scraping on his ears a little bit, only because like he's not quite wide enough to fit through. And it looks like they molded his head in red plastic, but whatever. But turn his head sideways like this, and that'll give you just enough clearance to push this up through here without scraping any of his helmet, because this is just not quite wide or not quite thin enough to fit between those posts. So turn it sideways, flip it up, and you're good. And you fold this panel up behind his head, fold this up, and then, like I said, you're going to fold these pieces around, and they're going to peg in. Get this lined up right. You're going to peg right into the either side of that, and that's what's going to lock this whole backpack together. There you go, just like that, just like that. And there is that part done. And the arms, unpeg them, bring them around, and then bend this all the way around this way, and then you just kind of rotate this up and over like that. Fold. You can leave the smokestacks up. You can fold them back like that, however you want to. I like to fold them back, and I think the instructions say to fold them back. But if you want to leave them up, you can. Flip that up. Flip the fist out, and then rotate this around. Bring it forward. The fingers open, but they're all one solid piece there. There's one arm done, and we're just going to do the same thing over here. Let's bring that down and around. Oh, just needs to go up like that, and rotate it around like that. And this, just bring it around, fold it down. And there we go. And then the legs, obviously rotate them around so the waist is facing forward. Pull these out to the side here. Bring this all the way out so this little peg comes. You want to bring it all the way up and out because these are going to fold down. And that's what's going to, and these are going to peg back into those. And that's going to give him his knees. If you want to, you can go ahead and snap his waist up. It takes a lot of force to get this to snap all the way in, but you want to make sure it clips all the way in. So it's secure and solid like that. Unpeg the legs. And this is where it gets tricky because you need to open this panel up and rotate it around like this first, because that's his kneecap. And then this piece comes up, and you can see there's already some kind of scrapes here, because again, the metallic detailing is super nice. It looks pretty, but it makes it just wide enough that you got to push this panel through here as you flip the foot around, bring the foot down, and then you got to kind of, there's a dual hinge there, and you got to kind of get this just right to push all the way through and around, and just getting it at the right angle. It already has barely enough clearance, and with that silver paint, it just kind of scrapes on the edges. Then you bring that down around to the back of the leg there, and you can close this around, and again, once it's rotated, it's got 2 peg holes on either side. You just plug that back into the front of the leg. And then this piece, there's a dual hinge right here on the side of the leg. So bring that down and around this way. And again, there's a hard angle there, so you got to get it. There you go, bring that down. And then this little peg on the side of the leg goes right into that. And that's another one of those pegs that will scrape the metallic off. And you don't really see it in either. Like on this side, it's inside here, so you don't see it. In the vehicle mode, unless you're looking specifically at it, it's not super visible, but it's there. And then you got to push this out. This piece right here up to this gap rotates around. And again, it's very hard to get going because that chrome gives it just enough of an extra layer that popping it out of here, every single time, like I end up hurting my finger because you just gotta really kind of get in there and pull it. And again, that tab makes it just thick, and you can see it's starting to scrape some of the blue and revealing the silver there on that knee tab as well. But you fold that down and around to the back of the leg like that, and that leg is done. That's one of those things that, again, as that rubs off, it's probably going to get easier to do the more I do it. But it doesn't have to be that hard. Don't even Michael Scott me here. Let's go ahead and just lift this up while he takes a nap. All right. And again, there we go. But again, you can see it more clearly there, how it's rubbing that corner off of the silver metallic. There we go. Get down around. Open this up. And I always forget that these open towards the inner leg and not out the way you would think. Open up like that. Rotate that around. And then we'll just go ahead and push the foot out and around and tab this. Bring the foot down. And then just basically work so that this just clears this. And then you just kind of wiggle it all on through as best you can. And bring it down around to the back. Now you can, this came packaged with, there we go. Let's lift it up and set it in there. But with these nozzles, came packaged separately and you had to clip them on. And at first I was like, oh, well, maybe you have to pop those off and it'll make it easier. I haven't found, these are not really the impedance trying to fold this through. It's just the edges there. You can kind of see some scraping there. Just the clearances could have been just a little more open. And like I said, I know there are some places on this where the metallic stuff has made it thing. I'm not sure if how much more difficult that was on the non-metallic version. But oof. There he is in his robot mode. And he's pretty cool. He's got a ball jointed head. He's got dual swing shoulders. He's got a bicep swivel, single hinge elbow, wrist swivel. You saw the fingers earlier. Does have a waist swivel, dual hinge hips, thigh swivel, single knee, And then some ankle tilt and some front to back on the foot there. No toe articulation despite these being separate molded, well, not molded pieces, but you know, they look like the toes are separate and they're not. He can hold one or both of his melee weapons. You just kind of snap them up in here into his hand. And again, because they're metallic coated, you're probably going to get some paint rub. There he is holding both of his weapons. And this gun here, this is actually pretty cool. And again, the instructions don't say this. I had to figure it out on my own. One, there's a peg here that you can flip out, and you can have him or any other 5mm peg hole character hold it like a rifle. But of course, in the vein of, was this Fall of Cybertron or War for Cybertron? I can't remember. I know it was from those series of games, and he's from the second one, but I can never remember if it was Fall and then War. I believe it was Fall of Cybertron and then War for Cybertron. But I may be wrong on that. But you can fold his fist in. You can see the... Oh, that's good to know. Like, it looks like it is blue plastic on the hands, so if I wanted to give him the blue hands, that's one of the other things I like about the other version. I could probably just strip the paint off of that. So maybe that's something we'll do. But if you fold his hand in, and then you take this and rotate it around, or fold this up. There's a little peg here that pegs in under there. Fold this around like this. It doesn't like clip into place, but securely, you can just slide it up here onto the arm and give him like his arm has transformed into the gun like it did in the game. And that's pretty cool. So yeah, like I said, I wish, and you can angle those however you want. A quick turn around here. Like I said, I wish the blue went on a little bit more evenly on the metallic shiny bits. And I wish it wasn't so prone to rubbing off the paint. Like, and on stuff like on this tab and this post, I'm not super concerned about it because it's back here on the leg and, give him a little bit of scuffiness and it's not visible in vehicle mode and it's not really visible in robot mode unless you're looking at him from the back. And that peg, again, hidden in robot mode, not super visible in vehicle mode. So like stuff like that doesn't bother me, but like stuff like here where it's clearly chipping around the edges and this didn't even go. Come on. There we go. And then you bring it up like that. It just didn't have to be that way. And, and stuff like on the head and such. So yeah, I'd like to get one of the regular... I'm happy with this. I think it's a cool design. And certainly you saw how much I loved his truck mode. I love making him go vroom vroom all over the place. It's a nice little prime. I just wish the metallic stuff had been done a little better. And real quick, just for a comparison, here he is. I had the Generations version of this design, and I don't know where he went, but I do still have the Fall Cybertron design, just to give you an idea of how big he is, and compare him to one of his other video game modes. And even though it's a different Cybertronian universe, here he is with G Creations Prowl. They actually, for some reason I thought Prowl was going to be bigger. That's the first time I've actually physically set them next to each other. And that actually works pretty well. Obviously, different design cues, but I dig it. But there is Planet X Jupiter metallic version. I'm pretty happy with it. You thought I forgot, but I didn't. Here he is. Up here in his chest. Technically I did, but you know what? You can open up these panels here. He does have a little matrix that pops out. It's got a red transparent gem. It's a weird matrix. It's not like the one that came with the original one. But yeah, you can pop a little matrix out of his chest if you want. And then if you want, you just put it right back in there. Just push it right back in there. Just know, hey, dude. You're going to take the matrix and you're going to be the leader and you're going to like it. Or not, I don't care. But you're going to do it. There we go. So yeah, matrix, the end.